Have you gone camping and forgotten some key kitchen items? That's what we're going to talk about today. Welcome back to Two Camping Gurus. If you like camping and the great outdoors and traveling, you are in the right place. Alright, so today I'm going to talk about the top 10 kitchen items that have been forgotten that you need when you're in the kitchen and getting ready to cook. So number one on the list, and these are in no particular order, is a cutting board. Now some campers have cutting boards in them, they're made into the sink and that's great, but sometimes they don't. Maybe you're tent camping and you want to chop up some vegetables or something. It's a lot harder without a cutting board. Of course, there's always ways to get around these type of things, but if you have the proper tools, it just makes it so much easier. So bring a cutting board with you. Number two is a whisk. Sometimes you want to be cooking some stuff. Now you can definitely use a fork for this, but a whisk is much more efficient. It doesn't take up hardly any space. And I know there's a couple times that we wanted to make something and use the oven to bake something or whatever. We really need the whisk to whisk up the item. Of course, I suppose some people say this is not real camping if you're really cooking like this, but it is an item that sometimes you use, especially if you're in an RV and you don't full-time RV, you just go weekend camping here and there. Well, many times it'd be nice to have a whisk along with you. The next item is a measuring cup. So lots of different things you make. You might need a cup of water, or half a cup, or a third of a cup, whatever. Without a measuring cup, it makes it much more difficult to do. So take the time to make sure you have some sort of measuring device for your kitchen and cooking needs while you're out camping. Okay, another item that is forgotten is a pot holder. So you go and you stick something in the oven and you're getting ready to pull it out after it's done, and you realize you have to go find a towel or something like that. Those do work, but it would be more ideal if you actually had a pot holder, especially the glove kind. And if you're doing camping, cooking on a campfire, then you can get special gloves for that as well. That'll help, cut down on the chances of burns. And we certainly don't want that happening. It'll ruin your camping weekend or your camping getaway. So, get a pot holder, put it in your camper, and have it with you. All right, moving down the list. Now we need ways to open up some of the things that we bring with us to cook. So that leads us to a can opener or a bottle opener, or both, really. Many times you're going to be having like canned food or SpaghettiOs, meatballs, something so simple. Especially if kids with you, these are the type of things that you would typically bring to cook. Without a can opener, it's a pain in the butt to get those things open. It can be done, but if you have a can opener, it just makes your weekend or your getaway much, much better. Again, it's all about being prepared and having the tools you need. Now, if you know you're not bringing, canned goods or anything like that, then maybe you don't need one. All right, next would be a strainer. So pasta, you might be making pasta. Now you can, put the cover on the pot, just off a little bit and strain it out that way. Again, there's always ways around these things, but this is all about making your trip a little bit better and, not getting in the middle of cooking something and realize you forgot an item that was going to make it a lot easier to do this. So if you have a strainer, which can be used for a lot of things, if you're cooking hamburger or and you want to strain the grease out of it, or pasta and you want to strain that, many other things as well. So, you don't need a great big one, just a small strainer, something that doesn't take up a lot of space. And have it put away so when you need it, it's there. All right, next would be aluminum foil. Now this, a lot of people bring this with them, but if you forget it, it's almost like forgetting your cell phone and you're heading out for the day to go to work or whatever. Aluminum foil is so versatile, whether you're cooking on a campfire or you're just trying to, cover something up that's going in the fridge, whatever it might be. Aluminum foil has so many uses when you're camping. You don't want to forget it. So make sure you take the time to make sure you've grabbed a roll of aluminum foil and you got it in your camper and ready to go when you need it. All right, you also need matches. So, many of the stoves on the campers have the igniter or a pilot or whatever it might be, but sometimes they don't. Especially if you have an older unit, you might need matches, or maybe you want to light a candle, while you're cooking and have a nice romantic dinner or something like that. You can get the clicker kind, or you can get the actual strike matches, whatever it might be, whatever works for you. But just make sure you have them, especially if you're going to be having campfires and stuff like that. It's a must-have item when you're camping, because you want to be able to have a way to start a fire or start your stove or oven, if it's that type, or a candle or anything like that while you're cooking or having a nice dinner in your camper or even out at a picnic table. So make sure matches are on your list. It's an essential kitchen item as far as I'm concerned. All right, so this next one, we actually forgot one, so it's a toaster. So we took off and we were going along, and I think it was like maybe not the first one, I might have had cereal, but a couple days into it, I said, hey, I want to have some toast with my eggs and stuff. We didn't bring our toaster with us. At that time, this is when the kids were little and we had rented an RV, so we had to put all the stuff we wanted in it. It didn't come with anything, which is fine, but we forgot a toaster. And I've actually talked to other people who have done the same thing. So you definitely, you can get away without it, of course, and with many of these items, but it just makes your trip that much better, makes you have a nice weekend getaway or a week getaway, or if you're a full-timer, you're going to stock these items anyways. But a toaster, to me, is something you definitely want to have in your camper or RV, so you're ready to make some toast. And you can even use it if you make French toast up ahead of time. You can make a batch of it, put it in the fridge. Then you can take that French toast, put it in the toaster, warm it up, put your syrup and butter on it, and eat it at a later date. So it definitely saves you some work there as well. So have a toaster with you if you're going camping. And last but not least, you need a place to put all your debris in your kitchen. And you're opening up packages, and you're using paper towels. You need a trash bag. Now, any of the paper stuff, of course, you could burn as long as it's not contaminated really bad. You don't want to be putting food in your campfire, especially if you're in the back country and anything like that, because it attracts animals. So you need a trash bag. It's an essential item. You can, if you have a barrel, a small trash can in your camper, get the size that fits it properly so you can tie it off. If you're traveling around a lot, I recommend using smaller ones, because if you stop at gas stations, you can just pop it into their little trash receptacles. So you don't want to have a giant one, because then you have to try to store this in the corner. Depending on your circumstances, the bottom line is make sure you don't forget them. Have some trash bags with you. All right, so that's top 10 items that I've come across that have typically can be left behind very easily because you're so busy packing all the other stuff and making sure you're ready for your trip. Bottom line for this or any other video or that you're watching to be prepared for camping is to make sure you have the best time you can when you're out there with you, your spouse, your family, whatever it might be, and you don't want to forget stuff. In the end, something is always left behind, but if we can give you some tips, and I learned tips too from people of ways we can make sure we don't forget some of the crucial items behind, we can make sure our camping experience is great. Now, another thing you want to do is before you even head out is to make sure you do a pre-trip check of your vehicle, your tow vehicle, your RV, whatever it might be, and you don't want to forget anything there. And one way you can make sure you do a pretty thorough check is click on the link down in the description. It's a pre-trip checklist that I provide for you for free. Click on that, you get an ebook as well with it. Talks a little bit about camping and make sure you're ready to hit the road. So, it doesn't cover these type of things, but it covers checking your vehicle and all that type of stuff to make sure you're ready to hit the road and have the best possible trip and hopefully have no issues on your way to your campsite. So that's my top 10 items that you might forget for kitchen-related cooking while camping. Put in the comments below any items that you might have forgotten or think people would easily forget. I'd love to hear what you guys have forgotten that's kind of messed up your camping trip. It's always fun to read that, and it also helps other people watching the videos to see what things they may need or not need. And of course, this list is not all-encompassing. It's different for everybody, but this will hopefully give you a start of some key items you could easily miss. Anyways, thanks for swinging by, and happy camping.